Welcome to Bears in Exile. Today is Tuesday, June the 12th, and this is the market overview. Looking at the Dow SPX VIX TNA UUP FXE GLD SLV and XOI XLF and CompQ. Okie dokie. Well, what a nice turn of events today was. I didn't get to see it really, but away we go. Okay. Last night we were talking about the new recent high, which was made on the daily chart, and how, except for that, everything was looking pretty bad. Popping into long-term moving averages is not a recipe for success, and it was kicked back down. Consequently, it made most of the indicators look poor, with the exception of the MACD histogram and the MACD and the 14-day RSI moving average. But here we go today. Very nice day, up 162.5 points, and doing it the correct way, which is to march into the long-term moving averages. And notice where it stopped. It stopped right at the bottom long-term moving average. It could be a really good sign, could be a bad sign, but I would lean more good side. And closed above the real body of the candle yesterday, also a good sign. But it did not exceed, let me blow this up some, it did not exceed the real body of this previous high here. So that's not as great, but still a great showing today. And can it have some more going forward? I believe that it could. Today was strong enough that it did turn the CCI and the RSI around, which had ticked down last night, which was a really bad sign. Fixed those. Turned around the stochastic, which had turned down last night. That's a great sign. 14-day RSI moving average still moving up. Histogram still moving up. The MACD still moving up. The daily looks good. This is a great setup for finally beating decisively the previous high, the real body of this previous high, and maybe even challenging yesterday's new ceiling that was created. So good move, absolutely. Now, yesterday in the 60-minute time frame, we had noted all kinds of problems, that it looked absolutely terrible. We pointed out the floor, and that it needed to hold. Now, indicator-wise, it looked like it was not going to hold. Everything was moving down, and amazingly, today, just turned around on a dime. The CCI, the RSI turning around, the stochastic turning around. 14-day RSI moving average still moving down. Had it been going up, this would have been an even greater move and would have exceeded all of the previous highs. In addition to that, the MACD histogram was able to turn it around right on a dime, and so was the MACD itself, looking for a bullish cross. This is great. Total 180, went against the odds, and what can you say? Now, looking at this chart, you could say, oh, we have a head and shoulder, inverse head and shoulder, in the midst of all of these little micro, regular head and shoulder dealies. So the question becomes, if this is true, which it could be, where are the shoulders? Because we have so many potentials. You could have a shoulder here, you could have a shoulder here, you could have a shoulder here, you could have a shoulder here. I would be more of the inclination that, well, actually, it could be any of them. The nice thing about this is they all share a common point, which could be the breakout line. And looking at it that way, I'll just have a little bit of fun here. You could say that it was broken at the end of today. Have some more fun. This is always the most fun part. And once again, you could say that it was broken today. So just a couple of possibilities I know this one isn't exactly attractive. Um, Anyways, just something to fantasize about. And if indeed this is a Head and Shoulders, then that's going to be a good 500 points roundabout to the upside, which takes us pretty darn close to the previous peak. I'm just going to bump out of this a little bit. Actually, on this one, it has a little more to go. You could say that it's that, which actually would be preferable, because then you would have almost 700 points, which actually would take you all the way to the previous high. Anyways, just another something to fantasize about. But very impressive day. Don't want to get too ahead of myself. Very nice. SPX more the same, not as strong as the Dow, but still a very impressive showing. The only bad thing about this one is it's a inside day, which is bearish, but this is also kind of early in that we haven't really definitively established if we're going to have a lower high here or not. If we do, then yes, absolutely, this is definitely bearish. But we do have the this potential double top here. It did break it by a fraction of a point, whether or not you want to count that as a proper break or not. But not bad. And indicator-wise, this looks pretty darn good. It was able to turn around the CCI and the RSI as well, turn the stochastic sideways. The 14-day RSI moving average is still moving up. The histogram moving up, the MACD moving up. And in the 60-minute time frame, actually have a little automated deal going off here. And this could also be a inverse head and shoulders trigger line here, in which case we're coming right upon it essentially immediately. And just like on the Dow, everything that was looking so horrible indicator-wise just turned on a dime and marched right back up. Is there more to this? Well, the histogram is moving on up, along with the CCI, RSI, stochastics, MACD itself getting a bullish cross. 14-day RSI moving average, if that's able to turn, yes, we could clear all of these previous highs. It'd be very very powerful. And last week we were looking for 1340 and 1360. I was expecting problems at 1360, but if indeed this is a inverse head and shoulder, it's going to take it right through that sucker, which would be really cool. We'd be looking at around about 60 points from this trigger line, which would take us to 1380 actually, which would clear all of this potential resistance. Very impressive. And the VIX, not as impressive. You know, it's yeah, it's an inside day, which is bearish. That's good for the bulls. We have confusion with the CCI RSI. We have the 14-day RSI moving average still moving down. Noted that last night. The stochastic is still moving up. The histogram and the MACD are ticking down. And we are marching in slowly at the long-term moving average bar. Still a little ways to go. Being at the 22 area is very preferable to the 24 or 23 area. So not bad. I would love to see the 14-day RSI moving average get all the way to the bottom. Hopefully we can turn the stochastic long before it goes up to meet it. Need more data, but still a really nice day. 60-minute time frame. This wasn't looking inversely as bad as the Dow and SPX last night, but even so, it was able to turn everything around today, with the exception of the 14-day RSI moving average. Everything ticking down, very, very nice. And yeah, if this is a failure at the long-term moving averages in the 60-minute time frame, going down to the 20 area should be not a problem. And down here we had already beat the previous low by a little bit, so that should be retested. And yes, conversely, yesterday we made a new recent high that should also be retested. So it is a bit of a push-pull. Which side is it going to go to first? TNA? Pretty darn weak, which is kind of a warning sign in comparison to the Dow and SPX. We did end with a fat body hammer, which does reach down to the bottom of this little range. So that is a nice possible reversal candle. But we have a long ways to go before we get to the long-term moving averages, and we never did break this previous high. 14-day RSI moving average moving on up. Stochastic CCI mixed. Down on the stochastics, up on the MACD histogram, and up on the MACD. Not nearly as positive as we would hope for. And 60-minute time frame, not bad at all. Did its turn on a dime, stochastic way up. CCI RSI moving on up. 14-day RSI moving average losing some momentum but still pointing down. Going up on the MACD histogram, going up on the MACD. Not yet a bullish cross, unlike some of the other 60-minute charts. Comp Q, the NASDAQ, also, just like TNA, not doing nearly as good. It is not a proper hammer. The tail is not large enough. 14-day RSI moving average still moving on up. Stochastics down. CCI RSI mixed. Up on the histogram, up on the MACD. And yeah, we have ways to go. Ways to go before the long-term moving average bar is tested. 60-minute time frame. Can we expect more here? Yes. Histogram moving up, MACD moving up, stochastics up, CCI RSI up, 14-day RSI moving average going down. If we can get that to turn, right on. UUP, probably the most important chart. Absolutely. Yeah, inside day bearish. We have a tail, looks nice for further downside. 14-day RSI moving average still ticking down. This has been the best indicator really to watch, and it has the potential for much more down if we can get it all the way to the bottom. I hope that we can. CCI RSI moving on down. Nice change from yesterday in the case of the RSI. Up on the stochastics, we need that to turn. Down on the MACD, down on the MACD histogram, going down for a bar retest at 22.6. Certainly seems very possible at this point, but we do have ascending lows and we do have descending highs. This is a wedge, so the question becomes, which way does it break to? And 60-minute time frame, actually we can see the wedge in existence here. The descending highs, the ascending lows, and but one of the possible areas for support broke at the end of today. Does that mean that it's definitively broke? No. It just means that we have one potential already break. And here's the other one, which is actually stronger. That one still exists. But we can also see the touches of the resistance area holding extremely nicely. RSI, CCI ticking down. Look at that. We're getting the curl on the 14-day RSI moving average to the downside. Excellent. Down on the stochastic, down on the histogram, down on the MACD, getting a fresh bearish cross in the 60-minute time frame. I really like this. This would have at least some promise for a lower low. I think if that happens, definitely going down to 22.6 right here, and very possibly going down for 22.4. If those two were to break, oh yeah, it's going to be fabulous. But that is a ways away, and don't want to jump the gun. FXE, the euro, very nice. It's a hammer. It's not at the bottom of a range, which is to say that the tail goes down into this area. Mixed on the CCI RSI, down on the stochastics, up on the 14-day RSI moving average, up on the histogram, up on the MACD. We were worried last night about taking damage on the 14-day RSI moving average and potentially getting a lower tick on the histogram. Having that not happen, fabulous. And 60-minute time frame. We can see we have a ascending lows, very slight, and descending highs. So this is also a wedge. And just like UUP, we have CCI RSI ticking up, 14-day RSI moving average ticking up, the histogram moving up, the MACD itself moving up. The only problem being the stochastic, which is also trying to loop over. So not perfect, but definitely more bullish than bearish. I hope the overnight doesn't screw it up, because it seems like that's what the overnight loves to do nowadays. And Apple, yeah, at least it closed at its highs. That's nice. Ending with a hammer, nothing really important there. We had talked about the need for it to, in the 60-minute time frame, to come over, bounce into the long-term moving average bar, and then bounce off. I think that we're going to see that here in a moment. Beyond that, 14-day RSI moving average moving up, stochastics down, CCI RSI mixed, slightly down on the MACD histogram, and essentially sideways on the MACD. I wish it was a lot stronger than this. And the 60-minute time frame. Yeah, this is really good. It does appear to be attempting to bounce off of the long-term moving average bar. It's still kind of early, but it does look promising. Histogram looping up, MACD turning around, stochastics up, 14-day RSI moving average down, and trying to climb up on the CCI RSI indicators. Not bad. And GE. Here we are. This one's important. GE should lead the Dow. And look at that. We made a new recent high today, finally. This is a great sign for the Dow. CCI RSI taking on up, along with the stochastics, the 14-day RSI moving average, the histogram, and the MACD. Excellent, excellent, excellent. GLD, very nice. Going in once again to the long-term moving average bar, having some resistance, which it should. CCI RSI moving on up, stochastics turning around, 14-day RSI moving average ticking up, uptick on the histogram, uptick on the MACD. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And SLV, kissing the long-term moving average bar, backing away slightly, ending with essentially a, looks like a hammer, but really it should be a spinning top. The bottom is a little bit low. But you notice the pivot points too. This is going to reset and have a new bottom, which means we're going to have a new top. The question will be, can we make a new recent high? If it is, we're definitely in a small bullish phase in silver. CCI RSI moving on up. Look at that. 14-day RSI moving average moving up, and we noticed the getting the cross on the stochastic with the 14-day RSI moving average last night, and look, it's joining it. That's fantastic. Uptick on the histogram, uptick on the MACD. Very, very nice. And I think that's going to be about it for tonight. Trying to keep it short. And that's it. Very, very, very nice. And definitely a major change over how things looked last night, and I am totally happy with that. So, as always, all investing decisions are your own. This chart and video for entertainment, educational, and consumption of time purposes only. Thank you.